Hi, we are Ruth and Martin, and for the past week we have been on safari in some of the most iconic places on Earth, visiting Lake Nakuru National Park, the Masai Mara, the Serengeti, and the Ngorongoro Crater. It has been a bucket list trip come true to witness animals in their natural habitat.
Wow.
In this episode, the last of our three-part safari series, we head back into Kenya to Amboseli National Park to see one of the most iconic images in all of Africa. And then return to Nairobi, where we see another side of Kenya's draw, coffee farming, before getting up close with Ruth's favorite animal and catching our flight home. It was going to be a 6-hour drive to Amboseli, but before leaving the Ngorongoro Conservation Area, we got one last look at the caldera. It's cold up here.
I'm freezing. I did not expect it to be this cold at the top. I wish I had a big jacket or sweatshirt.
Before the border, we made one more stop at what could be described as the world's best example of a made-for-tourist destination. It's sort of every tour on the way to or from Ngorongoro will stop here. It's like a theme park here. They got pretty much everything and everything. Very touristy. So this is our third shopping stop. The first one, when we first arrived in Kenya, really felt like we got taken advantage of in terms of pricing and everything. We didn't know what to expect. We were just kind of put there, way overpaid. Second one was at the Masai village we visited, and while we spent money there and it was overpriced yet again, and we negotiated, we bargained it a little bit, but still feel like at least we supported the village, because we're seeing the prices for things here and they're considerably less. Now granted, it's mass produced, but we still paid more than we needed to at the village, but at least we supported it. And then here, this is just one big shopping mall with lots of different things, trinkets to buy and artwork and everything. But it's just manufactured pure for tourists.
Kind of a place that's my worst nightmare, really. I am not tempted to buy anything here. It's just a good bathroom break, to be honest.
Start from here.
Yep.
Then we'll go inside.
Okay, cool. After 6 hours, we've made it to the border. Long drive, including our shopping stop at the shopping theme park. But now we've got to walk across, go through the formalities. We say goodbye to our guide here, Alan. We pick up another guide in Kenya. Our journey continues. All right, we've made it onto the Kenya side. That was relatively painless. Pretty easy. Just 4-step process. Show the yellow fever card. Go to the Tanzania out. Tanzania out. Kenya in. And then we're good. We're here. Now we've got Steve as our driver, and we're heading to Amboseli. Amboseli sits at the base of Mount Kilimanjaro, Africa's tallest peak, and is the world's tallest freestanding mountain. The landscape around here is so dry, it's almost very Southern California, very desertish.
So we just got to the gate at Amboseli, and it's a little bit nutty. There are just so many Masai women trying to sell you bracelets and necklaces and giraffes and all sorts of little trinkets, and they are relentless. But we're not interested, so...
They're not interested that you're not interested. They just keep going and keep going and keep going.
I just ignore. I don't want any keep saying no thank you.
So we're just arrived at Amboseli, but right over there is Kilimanjaro. A little clouded over. Usually in the mornings it's clear, so hopefully that's when we'll get the majestic view that I think we've all seen in encyclopedias or books or on the internet or something. So that whole dark area was a lake, and a month ago it was full. But given the conditions and how dry it is now and hot, it's completely dried out. There's a little bit of water way off in the distance. Got some ostrich here. Okay, you can only see either a giraffe or an elephant. Which one are you going for?
That's no fair, because I want to see both. I like both.
So we're getting our first peek of the snows on Kilimanjaro. Flamingos.
We are stopped right kind of in the middle of this big lake area while there's still water in it, because this will all dry out by September-ish. But on one side of the lake we have, I don't know, half a dozen elephants. In the lake behind me we have tons of little pods of flamingos.
So we're driving south through Amboseli, and we've come across this area which used to be a former set of lodges but got washed away about 3 years ago and still sits abandoned. It's quite eerie, but also kind of cool in the same way. Nature just takes over.
It would be good at Halloween.
Do a
Have
maze.
like a fright night.
So up ahead there's about 10 vehicles stopped, safari vehicles, and it can mean either one of three things: lion, cheetah, or elephants. So we're gonna go check it out. It was a whole herd of elephants, and since we're gonna be spending all day tomorrow in the park here, and our guide Steven said that we're gonna see tons of elephants tomorrow, we decided to continue on to the lodge. We've been on the road since 7:30 a.m. and now it's almost 6. So pretty beat, pretty tired. We just want to get into the lodge, settle in, and have a beer and relax. Oh, that's good. Needed a cold beer. Manchester United is keeping Eric Ten. One of the memories I have as a kid is seeing an image of an elephant in front of Mount Kilimanjaro in probably 3rd grade, and it stuck with me. And ever since wanting to come to Africa, I've wanted to see that for myself. So hopefully this morning we got a clear shot of Kilimanjaro. It's beautiful and stunning, not a cloud in the sky. Hopefully we'll see an elephant, walk right across the front of it, and be able to see that. That's one of those classic African images. So we've got a whole herd of elephants walking towards us, and Kilimanjaro in the distance. We're getting it. We're getting that picture. Oh, it's perfect. There are so many elephants, and apparently they go up towards the hills every day and in the night and then come back in the morning and graze down here.
One tusk.
That was the iconic moment of Amboseli National Park, to see the elephants in front of Kilimanjaro. And it didn't disappoint. There are probably 50 vehicles here, all trying to capture the same thing. But we could sit here and watch elephants all day. They've moved off into the distance. Got a big bull making his final approach to the rest of them. It was interesting. He kind of held back and made sure everyone got across and waited. And then when everyone was across, it was only then that he moved over. That was amazing. There's so many of them. So here in Amboseli, they don't migrate. They just kind of go in a line and then go to one end of the park and then come back and go to a different end of the park. But they still have this intuition to keep on the move, to move from one area to another. You have this one guy who's just going off on his own, which is never a good sign for him, because he'll end up as lion or cheetah dinner. Still the dumbest animals around. Go, join your friends. Don't just stand there by yourself. What are you doing? Okay, so we've heard the song Africa so many times, right?
I bless the rains down in Africa.
And they have the line there, Kilimanjaro rising like clouds above the Serengeti. Well, it doesn't sit anywhere near Serengeti. It's Amboseli. But I guess Serengeti was more famous or more well-known, and Amboseli more obscure, so no one would get the reference. So dry, dusty, gotta stay hydrated. All swampland, water coming out of the lake, creates a swampy area here. Lots of different birds. And also where all the animals come to drink, and the hippos come to lay down here as well and wallow in the mud. While we expected hippos in the water, we didn't expect to see a hyena hunting in it.
They have wings, buddy. Oh, that's great.
Yeah, buddy.
That's great.
You can see why Amboseli is one of the best places to see free-range elephants. They just are everywhere. This is a much better lunch than the one we had earlier. Full-on buffet. So this is our third bush lunch that we've had, and I think this one wins. It's
Plates and silverware.
plates, silverware, tables, and we've also got one of the more important things on safari, which is a beer. There we go. So this is a great lunch. We got ourselves a beer for our safari lunch. Some butter chicken, rice, and roll, soup. Beautiful view of Amboseli. Just had a nice lunch. Now we're going to go drive around a little bit more. It's so dusty here that there's a lot of dust devils that get So we just rolled up on a group of elephants that are in the tall grass, and they all put their trunks up in the air, and that signalizes danger. And sure enough, there was a group of lions in the tall grass. Wow.
Oh yeah, they're all coming back here.
Back here. They're trying to find him. Oh my gosh. There's lion cubs. Oh, see, look. These elephants are coming closer to push them out. Reinforcements are on the way. Danger. Right in here. That's what the lions are hiding right now. And then the other herd is holding them. They're scattering. Wow. They're scattering. Cub is right over there. Looking for her cubs. To his mama. Yeah, that's exactly where the cub was sitting. Your baby's home. Your baby's safe with the other mamas. This whole trip's been a bucket list experience, but when you see lions and elephants together, each protecting their own, it doesn't get any better than that. That is not a common occurrence. We were super lucky. We got there at the right time. We got in the right position to witness nature. Wow. Wow, wow, wow.
But this is something we never expected to see. It was spectacular.
Heading to the park gates, we came across another watering hole full of zebras. And Ruth got to see her other favorite animal.
My giraffe.
Spent a relaxing afternoon by the pool, having a drink. Great way to end our safari portion of our trip. Pretty much end the day here and just relax. And then tomorrow we head to Nairobi, where we have a coffee plantation tour.
Amboseli has attracted adventurers, climbers, and even the famous author Ernest Hemingway, who used the mountain as a backdrop for his famous novel, The Snows of Kilimanjaro, a story which explores the themes of living life to the fullest, as we can never know what tomorrow holds. This safari adventure of ours is our nod to that idea. So the rock behind me is where Hemingway would used to come and sit and chill and just enjoy the view.
So I'm standing right where Ernest Hemingway's bed was, right here. So we can look at the sunrise out that window, sunset out that window, and Kilimanjaro out that window. Pretty amazing.
Do you think you could climb that?
I don't know, but I really want to try.
Leaving the natural beauty in the rearview mirror, the 4-hour drive to Nairobi was like a slap in the face. It's crazy how busy it is, how crowded, and there's a lot of pollution in the air. Much prefer the game parks. Kenya is the largest coffee producer in Africa, harvested by hand and grown in the higher altitudes of the central and western regions. It is known for being full-bodied, its wine-like acidity, and its distinct fruit notes. Our guide Elvis took us through the history and process of going from the coffee tree to the cup of coffee.
You will not appreciate your coffee if you don't know the story of coffee. How many lives are being sustained by coffee and how many lives are benefiting from the same. In this farm, we only plant 2 of the 5.
We learned about the different types of coffee trees and the importance of the volcanic soil that makes Kenyan coffee so distinct.
Just got to pick the red ones. I'm going to test it out to see how dense they are and good quality. If they sink, good quality. If they float,
Instant coffee.
instant coffee. Or not as premium.
Elvis detailed the harvesting process from the hand sorting, the testing that ensures only premium beans make the grade,
The water density separation.
the natural in the sun drying, and finally the roasting. Before testing our beans, we picked
You got a floater.
and getting a taste of several different varietals and roasts.
This is probably one of the best tours we've ever done. So informative about the history of coffee and just the whole process of it as well, and how much labor goes into it. It's very fascinating and highly recommend.
I think Elvis, our tour guide, was phenomenal speaker, but he also gave incredible detail, explanation, history. It was a fabulous tour.
And great cup of coffee, and we got 2 bags of coffee to take home with us so we can remember it.
We had a few hours to spare before our flight, and Ruth wanted one last opportunity to see her favorite animals.
I'm ready to see some giraffes.
The Giraffe Center was created in 1979 by Jock and Betty Melville to lead efforts on saving the Rothschild giraffe subspecies. Threatened by loss of habitat, there are only 1,400 mature Rothschild giraffes in the wild. Through their conservation efforts of breeding and relocation, there are now over 700 Rothschild giraffe in various Kenyan national parks.
Places like this are super important in protecting them and nurturing them, and they spend about 3 years here before they get released into the wild again.
Got your pellets?
I got my pellets. We're gonna go feed the giraffes. The green one is different grass, and the brown one is molasses and something else.
Yeah, but they like the sweet
They
one.
like the sweet one with the molasses better.
Wow.
I think they are my favorite now. So right over there is Giraffe Manor, where you probably see on Instagram all of the photos with the giraffe coming in the window when you're having breakfast. It's super expensive to stay there. Books out really far in advance. Would be a really cool experience, but not for us this time.
As we left Africa, we couldn't help but be thankful and humbled by what we had experienced. We had so many moments with both wildlife and the locals that we will forever cherish. While Africa's wilderness is still threatened, we are hopeful that through ongoing conservation efforts, its timeless quality will be around for generations to come. The lure of Africa is hard to resist, and we can't wait to return.
Beautiful.
This is why we came to Africa.